Hey there, ladies and gents, girls and boys. So this is just a diagnostic video. This is a very rare Music Man Cutlass II made in the USA that I just completed restoring. So this is actually a video both for my customer and also just to document the work that I've done. So this came to me in a pretty awful state. Let me see if I've got them over here. The frets were like completely eaten, so it's been refretted. I've done refretting. This, for example, is one of the original frets. If you can see that, it's really quite badly pitted, and they were all like that. And it was, it looked like it had been left in a garden shed or a garage or something. I don't know why you would leave such an expensive piece of kit to just sort of rot like that. But yeah, you know, it was covered in rust, lots of smegma all over the place on the hardware, and you can see it clearly on the back. Oh, actually, no, you can't see it clearly anymore. But there were. It was just really messy. Oh, there you go. When you get it in the light, you can see there kind of marks. There was lots of cracks in the lacquer. So basically, what I did was I keyed the top coat and tried to get it down as far as possible without taking the color off, and then I've recoated it in gloss poly. It's had 4 coats of gloss poly, so a lot of sanding was involved between coats as well, just to make it smooth. So it looks pretty glassy from the top, which is nice. Also did the same for the headstock because that was quite messy. And the back of the neck, there was quite a lot of damage in the top coat there as well. So basically I've sanded it off. And that's one question for the customer actually. Do you want this glossed again, or shall I leave it satin? Personally, I think it's better satin. It's more comfortable, and it's a graphite neck, so it's not like it's going to warp or anything. I also had to heat treat it a little bit to reset the neck because it was quite bowed. And it's worked to a decent degree. Now we've got like what I would describe as a pretty much industry standard action. So whereas before it was more like 3 or even 4 millimeters at the 12th fret. So it's hugely improved. And it's got all these, you've got volume and you've got treble and bass here. That's all working. Fortunately, the circuit is still working. That was a miracle, I thought, because I really thought it was gonna be dead given the poor condition of the instrument. So now, yeah, I mean, definitely cosmetically it's looking like B to B plus rank for the year, whereas before it was like D or E or worse. That's probably it was just junk basically before, and a very expensive piece of junk it was too. You know, given the rarity. So the other thing that I did was cleaned up the tuning pegs as best I could. They're still, you know, they're still a little bit, you can see they're old, but got the rust off them. I've oiled them up, greased them, I cleaned all the metal work as well. Yeah, so I mean, basically, it's. I think this is as good as I'm going to be able to get it without actually having to strip the whole thing down and refinish the entire body, which would be a huge amount of more work. But it's a wonderful instrument. I mean, the sounds. All these combinations between the humbuckers. That's crazy. 5-way switch. I'm not quite sure what coils they're accessing, but that appears to be both coils on the front. No coil, that's just front. Tone down. And as you can see, it plays quite nicely up at the top. I was really worried that it was not going to play well, especially having to reset the neck a little bit. I thought, Christ, you know, what if it doesn't? What if it's just gonna? We're just gonna have to accept that the neck won't reset. But luckily, it seems to be holding out okay. And these are standard gauge nickel wound strings on this. So yeah, that was the front pickup with the treble down, the bass boosted. So it's really nice sound sets on this thing, and then of course that's front pickup and rear pickup. So this is balanced. I think that's balanced in like a parallel, and this is just the rear humbucker. So more like a Music Man. Well, it is a Music Man. So yeah, a Music Man sound. Very nice. So this is rear coils. So it's almost like having a 70s jazz bass. And despite having a low, a sort of fairly average action, I don't find it difficult to play. Yeah, it plays pretty smoothly. I'm really happy with the result. I thought it was going to be potentially not playing quite as nicely, so that's good news. Little bit of intoning to do. Still a few more points just to polish up. But basically, it's last setting is that's just the rear coil of the front pickup. Nice and aggressive. Yeah, so it's wonderful. I really like the sounds that this thing can cut. And it's a solid, I believe that's a solid alder body on this one. It's old. It's from 1983, by the way. So yeah, my question to the customer is: do you want the back of the neck left as a satin finish, which is my recommendation, or do you want that? Do you want that glossed? It was originally glossed, but I took that down because the damage to the coat was as bad as the damage to the coat on the body. It had pits and things that you could feel. It just wasn't smooth. So yeah, right now it's satin, and in my opinion that feels nice and comfortable. What I usually do with satin finishes is I do another, this needs one more pass, maybe with probably like a 600 grit or 800 grit paper, sandpaper, and then just I'll just polish it using like I've got Ken Smith oil based guitar polish, and that usually brings it up nice and shiny and very, very smooth to the touch. That's what I would recommend, but you know, of course I'll understand if you want it glossed like it was originally. That's also fine, not a problem. So yeah, that's it. It's good news. It's playing pretty nicely. It's a good looking beast, and yeah, it sounds fantastic as far as I'm concerned. The case wise, that's another thing, because this thing never came with case. Like I said, I do have some hard cases, or I have some good new semi-hard cases, gig cases. So that's a possibility. So far I haven't seen any Music Man cases on the market here used that would fit this age, but I'll keep an eye out. There might be one to just pop up. So yeah, that's it. So, and guys, as well, if you to those of you who are watching, this is something that I do quite often. You know, just restorative work. So if there's something that you're looking for, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Japanese vintage instrument, but if there's something that you're looking for, or you see it listed in Japan, and you need it, you want it, but you can't access it, or you don't understand because the listing's all in Japanese or something, you know, get in touch, because I do a lot of that work where I help customers obtain things that are here in Japan, and the seller is refusing to ship abroad or whatever, or they don't speak English, or communication is just extremely difficult. I can handle that, and I also handle the repairs or restorations, you know, so all of that's possible. And again, I'll link to my Base Hunter service, which is also basically a procurement, a search and procure service as well. I rolled that all into one service basically. So yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, you've been watching the Music Man Cutlass II from 1983, made in the USA. This one, so extremely rare instrument. All right, cheers, guys. See you in the next one.